Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second school spirit. I really am so excited about doing this series because it means a lot to me to uplift educators in a way that is so needed. I know what you go through as educators, people don't even understand, and they have not a clue. But I believe that educators got into the profession, most of us, not all of us, but most of us got into the profession because there was something in our heart, something in our spirit, in our mind that says, you know what, I want to give back to kids, my community, or there was some impact that an educator had on you. And school spirit is all about tapping back into the spirit. Sometimes when we think about wellness, I'm known as the teacher wellness guru, but when we think about wellness, we only think about eating right and exercise and things like that. And we forget that spiritual wellness is a part of it. Do you feel good about what you do? Do you feel like you're living in your purpose, or that you're living in a way that you can be happy about? And that is so important, because I believe being an educator is more than a job. You can get a job, okay? But being an educator is way more impactful than just bringing home a check. So that's why I hope that you really enjoy our school spirit today, which is about joy as a form of resistance. We have to keep it real. I'm not one to sugarcoat anything in regard to education and guys, everything's just peachy. I know it's difficult. I was a classroom teacher for 10 years. I have seen the ups and downs, all the testing, increase. Yes, I left the classroom before COVID, but I remember we were struggling before COVID. And if you're a teacher that was in the classroom before COVID, you can also attest to that. This is nothing that just started, which some people believe that, teaching just got challenging after COVID. That's not true. It exasperated it and it shined a light on it. However, challenges in education is something that probably for the last 2 decades has been increasing. We got all the data collection. It just drains you. It's like, I didn't get into this profession for that. So we know what drains us. So when we talk about joy as resistance, it's about saying, my happiness, my peace, my purpose, my passion, that's mine. That's my joy. You're not taking that from me. I always like to compare it to a 2-year-old. You don't just snatch a piece of candy from a 2-year-old. They're going to be like, no, that's mine. And sometimes I feel like we just give away we know that's just how it is. Oh, we know this is just so, tiring. And you just kind of just let it go and just accept that there can't be any real joy in what you do anymore. But I say, let's push back on that. Joy is a choice. A lot of times, that doesn't mean we don't go through things. I'm not naive enough to think that or to say that to you. But I do believe, and there is a lot of research to support it, that your mindset about difficult times, challenging times, and how you approach it intentionally, deliberately, is what's so important. So I want us to think of joy as a form of resistance, to say, oh no, not me. You're not taking my joy. You may have took my favorite curriculum away. You may have moved me to another grade. You may have moved me to another school or classroom, but I keep my joy inside of me. Joy is also a tool for healing, because with all the challenges and stress of being an educator, joy is like medicine. It's like a remedy. It's like you have to make time on purpose, intentionally, deliberately, for your joy. Yes, we want to talk about joy for your students, but first, it's about your joy. If you come into that classroom and you're upset, anxious, depressed, burnout, do you think the students are all of a sudden going to magically be like, hello, I'm so excited to be here? That's not how it works. We have to understand that we are a model for joy and enthusiasm, but we also are giving it. We are giving the energy in the classroom. So, what you bring in the classroom can also be what we see. It's like a mirror. When we think of joy, also, we want to think of joy as a gift because when it comes to our students, we know that a lot of times the adults in their lives, they may not be in a position where they can exhibit joy, or they may just not exhibit joy, especially when it comes to them, seeing them, being with them, and just seeing authentic ability to experience joy, especially when it comes to learning too, because it's like when we talk about school, school, work, but how about we change that mindset to where when we think about learning, true curiosity, true exploration, that we can give them an opportunity for joy. So, number one, with anything, any change, there has to be a shift in your mindset, in a person's mindset. We know we have friends and family that it's no matter what you tell them or how you try to support them, or maybe give advice or help in whatever type of way, it doesn't matter because up here they're kind of stuck in that place because it's a mindset. So I want to encourage you today to think about how you think about joy in your workplace as an educator. It is so important for us to understand that those 180 days that we count down every year, as we count down towards summer break or summer vacation or whatever break that's coming up, or we count down towards retirement, we constantly counting. Those days are your life. Each and every day, all those 180 days, those are days of your life. So are you okay with just saying, well, those 180 days, I may have a good one here or there, or maybe at the beginning of the school year, the kids are a certain way, but, or are you going to resist with joy and say, you know what, these are my days, and I'm going to make sure that I am doing something that is about my joy, making me happy. So I challenge you to this. I love emojis. I don't know about you, but track your joy. I know when my kids were little, they used to get red days, green days, or yellow days. I want you to intentionally, we always tell them in the morning, all right, focus trying to get a green day. Try to get a joy day, a day where you are intentionally working toward joy. You're doing things and lessons and throwing things into your day, whether it be music, whether it be, something funny, shooting a text to a friend, whether it's a walk, whatever it is that brings you joy, that intentionally you're tracking your joy. And every day I want to see on that, whether it's a chart that you have or on your calendar, that you put an emoji about that day. And just like when we are kids or were kids and they say, what type of day did you have? It takes intention to have a good green day. Same with a joyful day. It takes intention. Sometimes we do just have a joyful day, but if we are struggling to be joyful and not burn out and stressed out all the time, then we have to be intentional about our joy. So let's track that joy. Another thing I want you to think about is the stories that we tell each other. Oh, that one student. Oh, they this. Oh, this principal. Oh, that administrator. We could talk about all the negative. We could go on and on around the room, on and on about the negativity, about all that's wrong in the world. Did you see the news? Did you hear about this? How about we switch that to joy? I want you to challenge yourself to tell a joyful story. Oh, let me tell you, girl. Let me tell you, man, about this student that did this. Let me tell you about how excited I was to create this lesson or to find this resource or to run upon this guest speaker and have them zoom in or do this or do that. How about we challenge each other to joy and sharing joyful stories? Because sometimes we try to outdo each other when it comes to the pain. Well, oh, you at least don't have this person, and this person in the same class. How about we say, how about this lesson went so well and I was so excited and the kids enjoyed it, even though we may have had that little hiccup and I knew to tweak it, or like share joy. Share joy. I wish there was a news station we could turn to find only good news. It's like no good news happening in the whole entire world. We have to put our mind in our lens for joy. Look for it. Look for joy. Look for good stories. Look for happiness. Put a lens on where you see it. Mind shift number 2. Choosing joy on purpose in the classroom also means being strategic. Do you have a classroom anthem? Let's think about what that might be like. When the kids come in, the anthem is on. It could be something that you wrote at the beginning of the year, or it could be a song that just is inspiring and uplifting to everybody. Maybe you change it each quarter because the kids get tired of hearing it the whole year, and you too. I don't know. But let's think outside the box when it comes to education today. The kids are different, and we are different too. We're not the same type of teachers from years ago in the 1950s, then that's okay because the students aren't the same. We are going to have to think outside the box and do different things. So do your class have a classroom anthem? What about a classroom dance, like a little two-step or something when things go right? And I'm just throwing things out there because, again, we got to think outside the box. What about a class celebration? When something goes right, we go, woo. I'm making stuff up, but there are little things that we can do to bring joy into our classroom that also allows for connection. This is our classroom and what we do. If you teach high school, I taught middle school, and if I could teach middle school and do little fun things with them that they enjoy, even if they roll their eyes a little bit, let me not do it. They'll say, wait a minute, what happened to one of the things I love to do is awards. And I would award my best class. When I meant best class, it was like not necessarily academically, but just like on task. We got through the lesson and I did little videos every Monday. And the video would say, our class of the week is second period. And the kids would be like, oh, okay, they won. We're going to win next. So it is amazing, the fun things, the joy. And I'm one that likes to do a little video editing, and it was very quick. The video would take me maybe 10 minutes to do, and the kids loved it. I would shout out kids from every period. Again, it wasn't always about, who had the best, grade on something. I would acknowledge those kids too, depending on the situation. But it could be like, most valuable partners. Who did the best partnership, this week? That's an MVP award. And give a little award or something, a little treat. Kids love that stuff. And guess what? It made me happy too, because it was something different and the kids look forward to it. And it kind of put a little spunk, a little spice into the classroom. Okay. Also, it helped them to stay on task. Let's celebrate often. We look for celebration to be a couple times a year, maybe award ceremonies, but keep your eyes open for reasons to celebrate. you can give little trophies for the classes improving. I'm talking about dollar store trophies or things you can buy in bulk. I mean, it could be real little. You'll be surprised at things that kids really love that are inexpensive, stickers and things like that. And okay, which period or this class or you guys did as a whole increase 10% on this whatever test, and we are so happy. Or guys, our referrals in this, this class went down this percent. Find ways to celebrate, be joyful, because we sure can talk about all the negativity. We can just get in a rut of all the negative things, negative, 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 negative. Put on some different glasses, ones that are about joy, seeing joy, looking for joy, a joyful perspective. To tell you a little story about a story that my grandmother used to tell me about. There's a hole in the bucket. It was a little rhyme she used, not a rhyme, but like a story. She said, there's a hole in the bucket, Elijah, Elijah. There's a hole in the bucket, Elijah, hole. And it would go on and on. And the person that was being told that there's a bucket, they tell them different ways to fix the bucket. And it was a problem in different ways and different ways and different ways. So when I think of this bucket in regard to education, it's like there's a hole in this bucket. We're trying to fix this bucket with data. We're trying to fix this bucket with, all the metrics and testing. We're trying to fix the bucket thinking, okay, maybe we get the parents to come to the school a little more. This bucket will get fixed. And we're doing all these things. And I think we need to have fun again. It needs to be joyful. School, kids never really necessarily were like, woohoo, let's go to school. But I remember teachers being more happy. I remember us having fun in the classroom. I remember games. I remember joy. I remember the opportunities for joy, of course, were more, but we have to be intentional about filling up those holes in that bucket with joy. The tests and all of that is not, I believe, going to help increase this academics and the love of learning and exploration and curiosity that we want. We want the kids to want to learn. We want them to be interested. We want our teachers to be engaged as well. Let's fill up that hole in the bucket with joy. Plug those holes with joy. Having creative ideas to bring into the classroom to make joy a number one priority as a strategy for achievement, as a strategy for engagement, as a strategy to resist all the negativity, and as a strategy for our own wellness. As educators, and I don't know who I'm speaking to, you may be listening to this live, or you might be watching a replay. But being a teacher is not a job. So I'm sorry to have to tell you, if you were like, I'm just coming here to get a paycheck, I'm sorry to tell you, if nobody ever told you, being a teacher is not a job. Being a teacher or an educator, especially today, is a position of power. And that power is to empower, to inspire, to uplift, and to educate. But you can't get to the educating part unless you are inspiring and uplifting and connecting with the kids. This is a position you're in, a position of power that I find to be very honorable. So as an educator, this is bigger than just getting that paycheck or working towards that pension. If a doctor told me I wanted to be a doctor because I just wanted to check, I would check out of that office. Because you got to tell me you want to heal people. You have something in a passion to help people, not just get the check. So we have to remember that. We have to lean into that. And for those of us who are in a situation where it's, very challenging, this is the time, because we always want to say, well, so much going on. That's why joy is the time right now, because this is the difficult time. That's when you got to lean in the joy. Okay. If you want to stay connected, I'm working toward building a community of educators who are uplifted, empowered, inspired to go into those classrooms and do the same for the kids. But first, it's with you. You can stay connected by making sure that you are, just registered for our other school spirits. Our next one will be in December. Or just making sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you'll get the little notification when it comes on. I also post other things from my classes that I do. So little tips and interview clips. Also, you could catch the replay. So as these build up, you may be like, oh, I need a little inspiration. Okay. Catch the replays or keep that as in mind that, maybe I should play that today. We do offer graduate credits at Professional Inspiration, and all our courses are about educator wellness and uplifting educators. We have a class called About Time We Have Fun Again. I really enjoyed making that class. I know that's like a pun, but I really did enjoy making that class, and we learned a lot from our course experts as well. And, we have to pass this energy on. So I don't really care if it's 1 or 1 billion people who see this. If it's one person, we got to pass this energy on of the positivity, the joy of being an educator, whether you can do 5 minutes here or there, a couple times a week, do your little anthem, do little fun things, give out little trophies for different things and celebrations, and celebrate yourself. We have to do that, because if we don't, who will? Again, as always, thank you, educators, for all you do, seen and unseen. Thank you for impacting our future every day. Give them your best. Thank you so much. See you next time.